What is an agency? Agency, as stated in Section 135 Contract Act 1915, define the agents, a person employed to do any act for another or to represent another in dealings with third party. Meanwhile, in Section 136 Contract Act 1915, define a principal, the person for whom such an act is done or who is so represent. Who can be principal? Any person 18 years old above and who is sound of mind, and who can be an agent. As stated in Section 137 Contract Act, an agent need to be a major or sound mind. If he or she is a minor or unsound mind, he or she will not be liable toward his or her principal for act done as an agent. For example, our company, Eoc Sarawak, use Claudia as agent who is 18 years old, and Urai are the owner and principal of Eoc Business.
Okay, I will continue with the three of the ways in which agency relationships can be terminated. The first one is completion of the transactions. Once the sales of tasty bites is finalized, the agency relationships between the business owner, principals, and the agents such as business broker will typically terminate. The agent's role is to facilitate the sales, and once the sale is complete, their purpose is fulfilled, leading to the natural terminations of the agency relationships. Number two is mutual agreement. Both parties, the business owner and the agents, may mutually agree to terminate the agency relationships. This could happen if, for example, the business owner decides to switch to a different agent, or if the agents feel they have fulfilled their duties and no longer wish to represent the business owner. After that is number three. Number three is expiration of contracts. If the agency's relationship is Number three is expiration of a contract. If the agency relationship is governed by a contract with a specific duration, such as a leasing agreement between the business owner and the agents, the relationships will terminate upon the expiration of the contract. However, if the contract includes provision for renewal or extension, the relationship could continue until those terms are met or until one party decides not to renew.
Next, I will proceed on the real-life scenario from our experience. So during Commerce Week, Eoc Sarawak has performed an agency whereby Latrice is the principal and Claudia is the agent. Both of them have made agreement that Claudia will be delivered the goods to the buyer for 2 days of the business operation. And after 2 days went by, the agency has been terminated by agreement.
This is about the introductions about the memo that quote no habits rule and the importance of transactions. This provision means that if goods are bought from a person who is not the owner's and who does not sell them under the owner's authority, the buyer does not acquire any title. Thus, the rightful owner of goods is entitled to recover his or her goods from those who have no title to them. For example, that is my experience during Commerce Weeks. This is about the story when Latrice didn't ask Claudia that she wanted to sell Claudia's pop ice blender to Elwina. So, Elwina can't buy the pop ice from Latrice since Claudia made a report about her rights to the court.
So next, I will proceed to the 3 exceptions to the Nemo that quote non-habet rule. So the first one is estoppel, where the owner, by his conduct, makes it appear to the buyer that the one who sells the goods has authority to do so. Then the buyer relies on that conduct. The buyer obtains a good title because the owner is precluded by his conduct from denying the seller's authority to sell under Section 267 Sale of Goods Act 1957. So the example is, Elwina is the owner of the shop while Latrice is the co-owner. When Elwina left Latrice to walk by herself, it will appear that Latrice is the one who has authority to the stall and the goods. Hence, the buyer that bought pop ice blender from Latrice will obtain a good title since Elwina is precluded by her conduct from denying Latrice authority to sell. Next, the second exception is sale by one or joint owner. Goods may be owned by one or more than one person. So Section 28 Sale of Goods Act 1957 states that the owner of goods has the sole possession of them by permission of the co-owner. The property in the goods is transferred to the buyer who buy with good faith and has no notice that the seller has no authority to sell. For example, Urai and Claudia both are the owner to Eoc Sarawak. When Claudia is having a trip, Urai has made a deal with Latrice to sell her their secret homemade syrup recipe and sample without asking Claudia's permission. And Latrice will still get the good title of the recipe and sample because she has buy that recipe and sample with good faith and has no notice that Elwina has no authority to sell the recipe. The third exception is sale by a buyer in possession. Under Section 30 Clause 2 Sale of Goods Act 1957, if a buyer have bought or agreed to buy goods and obtain possession of the goods or the document of the title with the consent of seller, he can pass a good title to the subsequent buyer acting in good faith, even if under the first transaction he has not obtained a good title. For example, Esther, who once opened a new beverage shop, and Elwina, the one who bought business from Latrice. Latrice is the owner of Eoc Sarawak. And first, both Elwina and Latrice enter a contract where Elwina is given possession of the shop with Letri's consent, but they have agreed that the shop would not be passed until Elwina has paid full amount price of the shop by check. However, Elwina only pay for half of the full amount, then proceed to resell the shop to Esther. Even Elwina did not obtain a good title in the first transaction, Esther still get the good title since she is acting in a good faith, and therefore Esther is entitled to keep the shop.
Now let's move to the scenario. The scenario, Claudia, agent for Ice Kisah Pop. Meanwhile, Urai are the owner of Ice Kisah Pop. But Sian, the customer, doesn't know that Urai are the owner of Ice Kisah Pop because she remained silent when the deal happened. So Sian thought that Claudia are the owner. Claudia has a good faith in helping her principal by sell a lot of pop ice blended and get a lot of profit. Ice Kisah Pop are owned by Urai and her sister Nadira.